5 ways older men test women they want to marry. Ladies, when a mature man starts seriously considering you for marriage, he doesn't just propose out of nowhere. He begins testing you, watching how you handle real-life situations, observing your character when you think he's not paying attention, and evaluating whether you're truly compatible for the challenges that come with building a life together after 60. Welcome back to 60 Wise Living Advice. Today, I'm revealing the 5 specific ways older men test women they want to marry. These aren't games or manipulation. They're his way of seeing if you're genuinely ready for the kind of deep partnership that mature love requires. If you want to understand when you're being seriously evaluated as a life partner and how to respond with confidence, hit that subscribe button now. Perhaps he starts asking questions that go far beyond "How was your day?" Questions about your dreams for the future, your relationship with your adult children, your feelings about health and aging. Maybe he notices him watching you more carefully, not in an uncomfortable way, but with the kind of attention that says he's truly seeing you. Or perhaps he puts you in situations that feel somehow significant, meeting his closest friends, sharing stories about his late wife, or bringing up topics about finances and the future with an intensity that makes you realize these aren't casual conversations. If you've experienced the shift, my dear friends, here's what I want you to understand. This isn't random behavior, and it's certainly not him being difficult or suddenly distant. When a mature man begins to seriously consider you as a potential life partner, not just a companion for now, but someone he could spend his remaining years with, he begins what I call heart and soul evaluation. These are subtle but deliberate ways of observing your true character, your deepest values, and how you handle the real challenges that come with building a life together after 60. Maya Angelou once said, "When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time." Well, when a mature man is testing you, he's trying to see who you really are beneath all the pleasant conversations and lovely dates. And here's the beautiful truth. You should be doing the same careful evaluation of him. Because at this stage of life, we're not just choosing someone to date, we're choosing someone to face life's deepest challenges alongside. Test number 1. How you handle his vulnerabilities. Ladies, this first test might be the most crucial one of all, and it often catches women completely off guard. When a mature man is seriously considering you for marriage, he will carefully, deliberately share something deeply personal with you. Perhaps his recent diagnosis, his fears about losing his independence, his heartbreak over his adult children's struggles, or his regrets about choices he made decades ago. But here's what you must understand. He's not just seeking comfort or looking for someone to help him solve his problems. He's watching you with the intensity of someone whose future happiness depends on your response. He's asking himself the most important question of all. Can this woman handle the real me? The scared me? The imperfect, sometimes struggling me? What he desperately needs to see is genuine empathy without you rushing to rescue him. Acceptance of his fears and imperfections without trying to talk him out of them. Emotional stability when faced with his honest humanity. He needs to know that when life inevitably gets difficult, and at our age, it will, you won't crumble, become overwhelmed, or try to manage his emotions for you. Dorothy, 67, experienced this test when Robert shared something that took enormous courage. His diabetes diagnosis and his deep fears about what the progression might mean for his future. His independence, his ability to be the man he'd always been. I could feel him watching my reactions so carefully, Dorothy told me. Every part of me wanted to jump in with reassurance or advice. Instead, I took his hand and said simply, "Robert, that must be really frightening to face. How are you holding up with all of this uncertainty?" Robert later revealed to Dorothy that her calm, accepting response was the moment he knew she could be his true partner. She didn't try to fix me or convince me I was worrying over nothing. She just held space for my fear. She showed me she could handle whatever we might face together. Contrast this with how another woman might respond, immediately becoming anxious, frantically researching solutions online, or trying to take control of his diet and medical care. While these responses come from love, they show him something concerning, that his struggles overwhelm you, that you need him to be strong and problem-free for you to feel secure. This test reveals something profound about how you see him. Do you see a complete human being with normal fears and struggles? Or do you need him to be your strong protector who never shows weakness? At our stage of life, true partnership requires two people who can witness each other's vulnerabilities with steady grace and unwavering support. Test number 2. Your relationship with your adult children and family. Here's a test that catches many women completely off guard because it happens so quietly, so subtly, that you might not even realize you're being evaluated. He will carefully observe, like a detective gathering evidence about your character, how you interact with your family members, how you navigate the inevitable drama that comes with adult children, and most importantly, how you balance your family responsibilities against your romantic relationship. This isn't him being nosy or judgmental. At our age, he knows that family dynamics don't magically disappear when you say, "I do." He needs to understand exactly what he's signing up for, because marrying you means marrying into your family ecosystem, all the beautiful connections and all the complicated relationships that come with it. What he's desperately hoping to see is healthy boundaries with your adult children, evidence that you love them deeply but don't allow them to run your life. He wants to see that you can prioritize your romantic relationship without completely abandoning your family responsibilities. Most crucially, he's watching for emotional intelligence in how you handle family conflicts. Can you navigate family drama without dragging him into unnecessary chaos? Patricia, 69, became acutely aware of this evaluation when she realized Thomas was listening far more intently than usual whenever she mentioned her family. She would pay careful attention when I talked about my daughter's messy divorce proceedings, she shared. I could sense him noting whether I was getting overly involved in her problems or maintaining appropriate boundaries as her mother, not her therapist or lawyer. The real test came when Patricia's daughter called on a Friday evening, claiming an emergency and asking Patricia to cancel her weekend plans with Thomas to babysit the grandchildren. When I gently told my daughter that her wanting a spontaneous date night wasn't actually an emergency and that I had committed plans with Thomas, I could see the relief in his eyes, Patricia realized. He saw that I could say no when appropriate, that I wouldn't drop everything for every family crisis. This test is absolutely crucial because he's trying to answer some fundamental questions. Will your adult children treat him like an intruder in your life? Will you expect him to be a grandfather figure to children who aren't his? Will every holiday, every family gathering, every decision be complicated by family drama that never seems to resolve? He's watching for red flags that would make marriage feel impossible. Excessive family drama that consumes your emotional energy, inability to say no to adult children who treat you like their personal babysitter or ATM, or complete estrangement from family that might indicate deeper relationship problems. What he hopes to discover is that you love your family deeply but understand something crucial. A successful marriage at our age requires making your partner a priority, not just another person you try to squeeze into an already overpacked family schedule. He wants to see that you can love your children and grandchildren while still having room in your heart and schedule to build something beautiful with him. Test number 3. How you handle financial discussions. This test often makes women deeply uncomfortable, but it's absolutely essential for any mature man seriously considering marriage. When he starts bringing up conversations about money, retirement plans, lifestyle expectations, and financial responsibilities, many women feel like the romance is being sucked out of the relationship. But here's what you need to understand. He's not being unromantic. He's being realistic about what successful partnership actually requires at this stage of life. At our age, financial compatibility isn't just about whether you can afford dinner dates together. It's about whether your visions for the future can coexist without creating resentment, stress, or impossible expectations. He's trying to determine if you understand the financial realities of aging and whether your lifestyle expectations align with what's actually achievable, given both of your resources. What he's desperately hoping to discover is that you have realistic expectations about retirement lifestyle, that you won't expect to live like you're 30 with unlimited earning potential ahead of you. He wants to see open, honest communication about finances without defensiveness or secrecy. Most importantly, he's looking for shared values about money, security, and financial planning that show you could be true partners in navigating the financial challenges that come with aging. Linda, 64, handled this evaluation beautifully and showed exactly what mature men hope to find. When Michael started bringing up questions about how we might handle finances if we got married, my first instinct was to feel offended, like he was reducing our relationship to a business transaction, she admitted. But instead of shutting down or avoiding the topic, I decided to be completely honest about my retirement savings, my monthly expenses, and my realistic expectations for our lifestyle together. The result was revealing and reassuring for both of them. We discovered we had very similar values about money, Linda shared. Neither of us wanted to live extravagantly or take expensive vacations we couldn't afford, but we both valued financial security and the ability to help our children occasionally without jeopardizing our own stability. That conversation brought us closer together rather than creating distance. Compare Linda's response to women who become visibly uncomfortable with financial discussions, act offended by practical questions, harbor unrealistic expectations about being financially supported in the style they imagine they deserve, or show signs of financial irresponsibility, like maxed out credit cards, inability to budget, or cavalier attitudes about debt. These responses send up immediate red flags that signal potential problems that could destroy a marriage. This test carries particular weight because financial stress is one of the leading causes of relationship breakdown. And at our age, there's precious little time to recover from major financial mistakes. He needs to know that you would be a true financial partner, someone who contributes to financial stability and security, rather than a financial liability who increases his stress and jeopardizes his retirement security. Are you starting to recognize these evaluation patterns in your own relationships? Which of these tests feels most challenging to navigate with confidence? Share in the comments. Your honest experiences help other women understand and successfully navigate these crucial relationship dynamics. Test number 4. Your response to his independence and friendships. This test might surprise you, but it's absolutely crucial for any mature man considering marriage. He will deliberately maintain his hobbies, friendships, and independent activities not to be inconsiderate or test your patience, but to evaluate something fundamental. Do you respect his established life and relationships? Do you have your own rich, independent existence? Can two people blend their lives together without either losing their individual identity? This evaluation runs much deeper than whether you complain about his golf games or poker nights. He's trying to determine if you see marriage as two complete,
interesting people choosing to enhance each other's lives, or as two incomplete people desperately trying to merge into one identity because neither feels whole alone. What he's hoping to discover is genuine respect for his existing friendships and activities, relationships and interests he's cultivated over decades. He wants to see encouragement of his independence rather than subtle or not so subtle attempts to monopolize his time. Most importantly, he's looking for evidence that you have your own fulfilling life, your own passions and friendships outside of your relationship with him. Margaret, 68, passed this test beautifully and showed exactly what mature men hope to find. When David told me about his weekly poker night with friends he'd been playing with for 15 years, I could have seen it as competition for his attention. Instead, I encouraged him to maintain that tradition. I used those evenings as opportunities to pursue my own interests, sometimes meeting with my book club, sometimes working on my painting projects I had been neglecting. The result was telling. When David realized I wasn't sitting home waiting for him or building resentment about his independent activities, I could see him relax in a way that told me everything. He seemed much more comfortable about deepening our relationship because he knew I wouldn't try to absorb his entire life. This test reveals profound truths about how you view partnership. Mature men don't want to lose themselves in relationships. They've worked too hard building their identities, friendships, and interests to have them consumed by romance. They want partners who would enhance their lives while maintaining their individual identity that make them attractive in the first place. The red flags he's carefully watching for include jealousy of his long-standing friendships, attempts to gradually monopolize more and more of his time, criticism of hobbies or interests that bring him joy, or having no independent activities of your own that suggest you'd become overly dependent on him for all entertainment and companionship. The response that reassures him shows that you're a complete, interesting person with your own rich life who would add depth and richness to his world while maintaining the individual identity that make you attractive in the first place. Test number 5. How you handle conflict and disagreements. This might be the most revealing test of all, and it often happens when you least expect it. A mature man considering marriage will sometimes disagree with you on various topics, handle a situation differently than you would, or take a position that challenges your perspective, not to create problems or be difficult, but to observe something crucial. How do you navigate conflict when emotions are involved? He's evaluating your conflict resolution skills, your emotional maturity under pressure, and your ability to work through disagreements without creating unnecessary drama or resorting to manipulation. At our age, he knows that successful long-term relationships absolutely require the ability to handle conflict constructively, because disagreements are inevitable, and there's no time left for relationships that turn every difference of opinion into a battlefield. What he's desperately hoping to see is the ability to disagree respectfully without attacking his character or intelligence. He wants to witness problem-solving skills rather than emotional reactivity that makes situations worse. He's looking for willingness to compromise and find solutions rather than needing to win every disagreement. Most importantly, he needs to see the maturity to discuss differences without resorting to emotional manipulation tactics. Helen, 66, demonstrated exactly the kind of response that reassures mature men about long-term compatibility. She said, "When David and I had completely different opinions about how to handle a situation with his granddaughter's behavioral issues, my first instinct was to feel frustrated that he didn't immediately see the wisdom of my approach. But instead of getting upset or digging in my heels, I took a breath and said, 'I can see we have different approaches to this situation. Help me understand your thinking so we can figure out the best path forward together.' The result was exactly what mature partnerships require. We ended up having a really productive conversation that led to a solution we both felt good about, one that was actually better than either of our original ideas. Her response demonstrated emotional maturity, respect for his perspective, and collaborative problem-solving skills, exactly what he needed for long-term compatibility. The red flags he's carefully watching for paint a very different picture. Explosive anger that makes rational discussion impossible, giving the silent treatment as punishment for disagreeing, emotional manipulation designed to make him feel guilty for having different opinions, absolute refusal to compromise or consider alternative solutions, or attacking his character and intelligence when you disagree with his decisions. These behaviors don't just predict occasional arguments, they predict the kind of ongoing relationship toxicity that makes marriage a source of stress rather than support, especially when facing the inevitable challenges that come with aging together. Which of these tests do you think would be most revealing about someone's true character and compatibility for marriage? Share your thoughts below. Understanding these relationship dynamics helps all of us navigate mature partnerships more successfully and authentically.
Now, here's what you need to understand about all of these tests. They're not games or manipulation. They're natural, necessary evaluation processes that happen when someone is seriously considering spending their remaining years with you. At 60 and beyond, there's simply less time for trial and error in relationships. A mature man needs to assess compatibility thoroughly before making a commitment that could affect the rest of his life. These tests help him determine whether you share his values, can handle life's inevitable challenges, and would truly enhance his life rather than complicating it. But here's your advantage. Understanding these tests helps you respond authentically rather than trying to guess what he wants to hear. The goal isn't to pass by being perfect, it's to show your genuine character so he can make an informed decision about compatibility. And remember, this evaluation process should be mutual. While he's testing you, you should be observing how he handles your vulnerabilities, respects your independence, navigates conflicts, and demonstrates his own emotional maturity and character. The right relationship will feel like two people discovering genuine compatibility, not one person trying to prove their worthiness to another. Ladies, I want you to remember something crucial. You don't need to pass these tests by performing or pretending to be someone you're not. You need to be authentically yourself so that any man considering marriage can see who you really are and make an honest assessment of compatibility. The right man will value your genuine character, including your imperfections, your independent spirit, your family dynamics, your financial reality, and your authentic way of handling conflict. He won't need you to be perfect. He'll need you to be real and compatible with his vision of partnership. But equally important, you should be conducting your own tests. How does he handle your vulnerabilities? Does he respect your independence? Can he navigate disagreements maturely? Does he have realistic expectations and emotional intelligence? At this beautiful stage of life, both partners should be evaluating for genuine life compatibility, not just romantic chemistry. These tests, when approached with honesty and mutual respect, help both people determine whether they've found someone they can truly build a satisfying life with. The goal isn't to pass someone else's tests. It's to find someone whose genuine self is genuinely compatible with your genuine self. Someone who appreciates exactly who you are, while sharing your values and vision for the future. As Maya Angelou reminded us, when someone shows you who they are, believe them. When these tests reveal his character and yours, believe what you learn and make your relationship decisions based on genuine compatibility, not just hope or attraction. If this message helped you understand these important relationship dynamics and gave you confidence to be authentic while evaluating compatibility, please subscribe to our channel and share this with other mature women who deserve to understand how serious relationship evaluation really works. Remember, you're not just getting older, you're getting wiser about recognizing genuine compatibility and refusing to settle for relationships that don't honor your authentic self. I'll see you in our next video, where we'll continue exploring the beautiful complexities of mature love and the wisdom that makes this stage of life so potentially rich and fulfilling. Until then, remember, the right person will appreciate your authentic character, and you deserve someone whose genuine self is truly compatible with who you really are.